Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? This is episode 99. My name is Tony Rizzano, and this is the Affiliate Party Podcast. Now, today is Thursday, October the 22nd, 2020, at the time of this recording. And today we are going to talk about connecting with your audience. The more you connect with your audience, the better off you'll be, and the more enthused they will be, and the more money you will make. Now, how do you connect with an audience? Sometimes some of these things you might want to study up on. Sometimes you might want to observe the different ways that people connect with an audience. Now, I will tell you of course, as we all well know on this here podcast, I used to enjoy some wrestling. So I am going to take you back to 2002. I remember me and my brother, we watched WrestleMania 18. WrestleMania 18 was a very good WrestleMania. One of the last ones I actually watched from beginning to end. It was very excellent. But the best match that they had on the card that night was between The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, as some of you well know, and his opponent was the immortal, at the time he was Hollywood Hogan, but we're just going to call him Hulk Hogan. One of the best, one of the top wrestling personalities to ever grace the square circle, okay? But at the time, Hulk Hogan was as they say in wrestling, he was a heel, he was a bad guy, and The Rock was a good guy. But on this night, it was a lot of people in the Toronto Sky Dome, and it's very nostalgic. And I remember even myself from the 80s, I was like, oh man, Hulk Hogan. And I found myself, even though I liked The Rock, I enjoyed The Rock up to that point, I found myself that night. I told my brother, I said, I want to see Hulk Hogan win. I said, it'd be nice, And it was, so the match started off. I mean, he came down the aisle, and people just started cheering for him, and it was very, they thought people was gonna boo him a lot, but no, people started cheering. And as the match went on, you just saw a shift. And it's like he had the audience in the palm of his hand, like both of these guys had the audience in the palm of their hand. And then as I watch that now as a marketer, I'm like, Jesus, if I can get this, if let me tell you something. It was like 80,000 people, I think, in the Toronto Sky Dome. If you could get a fifth of that kind of audience to follow you and to be a big fan of yours or whatever, you would be in hog heaven, my friend. Okay, but if you never watched a wrestling match, or because like two different genres that I could say, like you really get swept up into the people, the characters. You don't really think about the person like that, but you get caught up into the characters. It used to be wrestling, like you would find a character and you would just be like, I like this person, I want to follow them. And you would go through the pains, the trials, the tribulations of these people. Like I remember in the 80s, me and my brother, when we first started watching wrestling, Hulk Hogan. This is why, I mean, it's 2002 and I'm an adult at this point. I'm 22, 23 years old. I'm an adult now, and I'm still out here. Me and my brother were like, oh man, what do you think is going to happen? We know that wrestling is kind of, we know at this point that I mean, first off, I know a lot of people say it's, but nothing's fake about getting your neck broke, your legs cracked. The match is predetermined. I will never use the word fake when it comes to wrestling, but the match is predetermined. They have a predetermined outcome, but you go out there, you perform these moves. Man, me and my brother, since the 80s, we was Hulk Hogan fans. You know what I mean? Like, I remember when we was kids, on Saturday Night Main Event on NBC, Hulk Hogan would come. he would get beat up or something like that, or he would overcome an opponent, and he would do his pose. And me and my brother, we would do the little Hulk Hogan pose, and we was little Hulkamaniacs, you know. And this is pre-racist Hulk Hogan well, this is before I've heard him say, utter some words that are kind of disgraceful. But anyway, I ain't gonna hold that against the man. But 2002, I'm still connected with this guy, and I'm watching this guy, and I'm like, come on, man, come on, Hogan, come on, man, kick out, So if you never just watch the first, you don't even have to watch the whole match. You just watch the entrances. That's what I'm trying to say, and watch how these people connect. The audience connects with them so passionate, it's ridiculous, And this is what you want. This is what you want if you're on radio. This is what you want on your videos. This is what you want when you write stuff. You want people to be excited to hear from you. You want people to, it's just like, as soon as you put up a podcast, you post your podcast, you want people to, you want your audience, not everybody's going to be this way, but you're going to get people that are going to download it immediately. Some people are just going to connect to you that way, and they're going to download it, and they're gonna follow you no matter where you go. Whatever medium you're at, they're gonna follow you. That's dedication. That's what you strive for, and that's why I say you should watch like that. Just the interest alone, you can hear the audience, and they're so excited to see an old, because it's been like 10 years since the man's been in the WWF or whatever. So it's like, oh man, he's back, and you just feel the passion, you feel the love, you feel the, it's just an audience with their guy. And it's two genres that I was gonna say that, like, my mom, she watched a lot of soap operas back in the day when I was a kid. So of course, growing up, well, in those times we only had one TV. Kids, it used to be a time where you barely had, sometimes you didn't even have cable, you know what I'm saying? But we had like one TV, I think. Yeah, one TV with cable. So this was our life for a while. And my mom she would record the soap operas, and she would say, don't turn my TV because I'm recording the soaps. So we were stuck. And so, of course, she watched some soaps. I watched it with her, and people, and you would hear these people, not just women, men. When I worked at a prison, these guys, they was into these soaps, and they would talk about these people like they know these people. And one example would be it's a character on Young and the Restless. I'm sure most of you probably heard of it, maybe, whatever, but it doesn't matter. But one of the main characters is a guy called Victor Newman, and people love Victor Newman. It's two ways people go about Victor Newman. It's you either love Victor Newman or you can't stand Victor Newman. That's how it is with people. You hear people you hear people. When I worked at the prison, they go, man, that Victor Newman, man, he's something else. This Victor Newman. Some people liked him, some people loved him. I had a cousin, she's like, I love me some Victor Newman. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, really? She just talk about him like he was, like he was a, actual, the guy has a real name and everything like that, but I'm not looking, I don't really know the guy, I've never heard of an interview with this guy. I just know his character on TV. And you want the audience to connect. That's how you want your audience that's how you want to connect to your audience. Like I said, of course, everybody's not going to connect with you in that passionately, but some people will. It's just like if you never read this article. People reference it a lot, but it's an article called 1,000 True Fans by I want to get the guy. I think his last name is Kelly. I got it on my phone somewhere. I had to look it up, but I'll write it down in the comment section of the episode. But it's basically saying, like, if you have 1,000 true fans, like, it's sort of like the Grateful Dead. You know how they have these deadheads? I remember Bill Walton, the famous basketball player and commentator. He's a as they call him, deadhead. He goes to all these like Grateful Dead concerts and everything like that. He has the T-shirts and all the merchandise. Like those are the kind of fans. Like if you have 1,000 of those fans, they say you will make a living. You know what I mean? So you want to connect. You want to connect. You want to find. So that's why I say every day, produce content, because it won't happen overnight, but eventually you will find a lot of people who are looking for you. They'll say, "Where is your content? Where is this? Where is that? When are you gonna make another video? I'm waiting on your video." They have these things now. I see these people. They start to get a fan. They start to get an audience on YouTube, and then they go, "All right, I'm premiering my video at such and such time. Are you gonna watch the premiere?" And people are like, "I can't wait to see your video." Blah blah blah. Like, this is what you wanna. This is what you want. And of course, you want to turn all these fans into paying customers, So you just have to keep that going, You have to be interactive, you have to be responsive, and it's you don't have to be fake or phony or anything like that to have a genuine connection with people. Just be yourself, and just like now, like, if you're doing a video or you're doing a podcast and you tell me about something that I don't know about, so let's say, like, if you're big on cricket and you're telling the story about cricket, and I'm like, oh, okay, I'll listen. And then I will go, oh, let me look up some cricket, because this guy that I like to listen to on this podcast, he mentioned cricket. So I would go look at cricket, you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that. It's just like, I can't sit here and talk to you about stuff that I don't really enjoy. Like, I'm not gonna, like, it's October, it's Halloween. I'm not gonna sit here and talk to you about ghosts and goblins, because that's not really my thing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I might write a email about ghosts and goblins or something like that. Something kind of might tie it in, but I'm not gonna sit there and write a whole month of Halloween, spooks and ghosts and goblins and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, because it's not my deal. But I can talk about wrestling and tie that into online marketing, digital marketing, whatever, however you want to put it. Entrepreneurship, like, because I know that like when I watched the match again, and then lately, like the last couple of days before. Well, I was like, I know I want to talk about on Thursday. I want to talk about connecting with the audience. So I was watching a couple of Hulk Hogan matches and a couple of a couple of interviews he had, like, doing the wrestling, and just to hear different things he would say that how people would connect with him, and how people would come out and cheer. And then I started watching, like, another wrestler that connected with the audience very well was Stone Cold Steve Austin. Like, I remember, like, he would just he wouldn't have to say nothing. He would walk out, and no, you would hear he had this music. You would hear the glass break. It go boom. How I can't do imitations like that, but the glass would shatter, and then you would hear nothing but people screaming, And then I remember my brother was the same way, because he would hear the glass shatter, and he would go, "Stone Cold Steve Austin." I go, "Oh, here comes the man." And Stone Cold would walk out there, and he would start moving his head around, and he would be talking to himself, and you never knew what the hell he was talking about when he was walking and talking. But it was so cool. Every time you heard that glass shatter, you just was like, "I'm ready. I want to see what Stone Cold has to say this week." It was a genuine connection, because before, like, his character, I remember he was in another wrestling organization called World Championship Wrestling. Now, I had to say this stuff because some people don't watch wrestling, but he was in another organization. His name was Stunning Steve, and I liked Stunning Steve. He was good. Like, he was a good wrestler, but his connection with the audience wasn't quite there, yet. They didn't give him a chance either, but once he became really, like, who he is, like, just a guy from Texas, and the connection was very real. The connection is very genuine. Even now, like, it's been damn near 20 years since he's been in the ring. Like, whenever he comes out every now and then, and my brother, he'll text me, he'll say, "Oh, Stone Cold's gonna be on Monday Night Raw," and I go, "Oh, okay, I'll check it out." and I watch it. I get excited. I'm like, oh look. So it's been almost 20 years, and that connection is still there. Like once you have a connection with somebody, no matter what, it really doesn't, like go away. Like even like like Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is a criminal. Like he's a rapist. But I can't just not watch the Cosby Show. Like I know Bill Cosby is to me in my opinion, I think he's a terrible human being. But I can separate the character on TV because like his character, Heathcliff Huxtable, was America's dad. So you watch the TV show and you're like, oh man, Heathcliff is always funny, Like it's a connection with that character, not with the guy itself, because he's a kind of a piece of shit for a human being, you know what I'm saying? Like he's a rapist or whatever, but you know what I mean? Like certain people that you just find you connect with and you go, okay, I'm gonna, whenever they have something going on, you're like, I'll check it out, I'll watch it, I'll give it a chance. And that's the kind of connection that you want to have with your audience. You just want to build it with your audience. You want to be honest. I mean, you don't have to tell them, hey, I woke up at 8:30 and pissed this morning. I mean, nobody wants to hear that. But you want to have a genuine connection. You want to discuss, the highs and the lows that you have. Like it's not a therapy session, but you definitely want to be more open. Especially these days, people like to like being fake, being phony. Like this ain't the how they used to do those interviews on, they do those late night interviews with the actors and stuff, and they just tell you a cheesy story, and you're like, like you want to make a genuine connection with the people, you want to hear them say, this movie, I didn't enjoy the process, I didn't like it, why you didn't like it, stuff like that. You want to hear like honest, you want to hear honest, you want to hear, you just want to feel a connection towards people. And if you produce content on a regular basis, you will find the audience, they will find you, you will find each other. And then, if you say, hey, just like you say, hey, I have this product that I'm selling, I have a book that I want to sell you, and it's going to help you out. And people will go, okay, I believe this guy, I bought a book from him before that helped. And they will keep buying from you. They will keep buying from you. Because, of course, as we well know, the hardest sale is the first sale. But if you have a connection with the people and they trust you, they like you, and they, have respect for you, if you tell them, hey, buy this, this will help you, and then they will open up the wallet and they will buy from you. Now, every time, if you have 5,000 people email list, 5,000 people are not gonna buy from you. You just have to remember that. But the people that are really intertwined with you, the people that really are connected with you, they will go from a free podcast to purchasing the stuff that you sell. You know what I mean? So keep that in mind, and just it might not happen overnight, but you build a rapport. You let people into your world, and people go, oh, you know what? I like this guy. I like this person. And they will keep coming back, and they will keep coming back. And you will be surprised. Like I didn't really look at it. The first month I just did podcasts. I didn't really look. I didn't pay attention. I said, you know what? Nobody's listening, I knew nobody was listening the first 30 days. Then eventually, about 2 months in, I looked, and I said, oh, here we go. We got an audience. And now, every day I'm like, somebody's downloading the podcast. It's not 1 million people, but it's enough people that makes me say, okay, this has been, almost at episode 100. So it's like, okay, I'm establishing an audience. I'm establishing a rapport with people, Like, it's not full blown yet, but it's getting there. It's like people are downloading it every day. People want to hear what I have to say on a regular basis, Like, of course, every episode you're not going to be like, oh, that was a great episode, Every episode's not going to be a home run, every episode is not going to be a grand slam, but we're here every day. You know, we're here doing it every day. We're here producing it every day, and hopefully that will inspire. Hopefully that will go, you know, this guy, you know, I know a guy, he's doing a podcast every day. This will inspire me to do, you know, daily content every day or whatever every day to get my stuff going. You know what I mean? Like, you just start showing up in the arena and the people will come. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's amazing, you know? It's like, you don't think about it, because a lot of times before, you know, like, before I started an online business, I was I was a consumer of a lot of things. You know what I mean? Like, we all start off, you know, most of us, you know, you didn't start off like, I'm gonna produce this, I'm gonna produce that. You know, you just consumed a lot of stuff. But then once you start producing, it's like, will people come? Of course people will come. You will find people. The people are there. You will connect with people. So less consuming, more producing, and you will find an audience. You know, of course you're always going to consume, because you always need. Like, I watched 2 movies yesterday, back to back, and I wrote a lot of notes. I wrote a lot of notes, so you will hear a couple movies in the next couple weeks. You know, because I wrote notes and I was like, oh, I could tie this into marketing. Like, every conversation now, every movie I watch, every song I listen to, a lot of things I listen to, a lot of things I do, anything that I consume now, I think about how can I tie that into my marketing business. Like, that's the goal. Like, and that should be your goal too. Like, it's like, I watched this documentary about Jerry. Was it a documentary? I don't know if it was a documentary. I don't know if it was an interview, but he says even now, Jerry Seinfeld has millions of dollars in the bank, millions of dollars. He said he still goes to his office and he still writes jokes on a daily basis, because you never know. You always want to keep that. You want to keep that muscle going. You know, it's just like, I do this every day, and now it's not as difficult. It's not as hard to get on here, and I don't even know what minute I'm on right now, but I know it's been a while, and I'll tell you right now what minute we on. We're on 20 minutes, and I haven't even you know, I didn't even notice. You know what I mean? So once you get going, once you get started, just start doing it, and you'll find that connection. It'll be genuine. It'll be real, because you'll be honest. You'll be open. You know, you have to sometimes let your guard down. That's something I know I had to learn that, because before I would never sit here and, you know, tell you anything about my personal life. But I've shared a couple of things, you know, and there will be more things to share, because this is just the beginning stages of this podcast. You know, it's just the beginning stages of my material producing, because I want to pump out more content. Of course, we got to get, you know, more content, because we got to get down the road. We got things to do. We got greatness to achieve. You know what I mean? But yeah, check out that wrestling. Just the first couple minutes of like the Hulk Hogan, and you'll see like how the crowd is, and you'll say, man, if I get that kind of if I get that kind of crowd reaction, if I get that kind of audience in my marketing, my online business, then I will be set. You know what I mean? Like, if you have people, if you say, hey, I'm doing a video at 5 o'clock, and then you look and you have like, even if you have 3 people, 1 person, listen. You get 1 person, you'll get 2 people. You get 2 people, two will turn into 200. 200 turn to 2,000. And if you just keep going, you'll be amazed. It's not hard to establish. It's not hard to get an audience. You just have to keep doing the things that you're doing. Okay, you have to keep making content, and people will find you. You know, of course, after a while, you can, you know, eventually you can start doing paid advertisement. But if you're in the beginning stages, your budget is kind of low. Do the free stuff, and trust me, they'll find you. Okay. But that's it for today. Check out the I know I was talking about the soaps, but there's plenty of like there's plenty of examples. like they don't do a lot of soap operas like they used to. It's so many examples of like TV shows and people like another radio person like Howard Stern. Howard Stern has a deep connection with his audience. You know, like of course people try to say, oh, since he left terrestrial radio, he's fell off. No, his core audience, the people that love Howard and will follow Howard from here to Timbuktu, they love him. They still listen. They don't give a they don't care how old the man is. They don't care about none of that. He turns on the microphone. They love it. They listen. He has an audience, you know. I just want to give you a non-character because I know I gave you, Hulk Hogan is a wrestling character. Victor Newman's a character, but Howard Stern, And of course, as you well know, people on TV, people on the radio, if you're going to be doing stuff like this, you have to ratchet up a little bit, You can't be, because I'm not, I'm nice. Like, if you saw me walking down the street, I'm not going to be smiling like I am right now. You know what I mean? I'm pleasant. I will speak to you, but I'm not, like, when I do the podcast, I try to be at a high level. You know what I mean? Because you got to bring the energy. Of course, I have energy, but I don't have to, when you do the podcast, when you do anything, when you do videos, podcasts, you have to bring the energy. You know what I mean? So you have to ratchet up a little bit, but it's who you are. You just ratchet up a little bit. You know what I mean? So don't think you just have to come in and be like, hey, it's me. I'm pretty damn tired today, so I'm just gonna lay down and do this podcast. Nobody wants to hear that. You have to come and say, hey, I was tired, but I took some coffee and now I'm ready to go. Woo, 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 things like that. You be who you are, but you have to ratchet up because nobody wants to hear, nobody wants to hear dead man on especially if you're doing like audio. People want to hear the enthusiasm. People want to hear you. Well, my wife says, she said, you talk loud now. I'm sorry. I'm saying, do I? I'm like, and then of course, I told you last week I listened to the podcast a couple of times. I was like, man, I am talking kind of loud, huh? But yeah, just be yourself and give it a go, and you'll make a connection. You'll find people. Hold on. Good? All right. Okay. You hear that, people? That's real life right there, okay? Disturbing me, shit. But anyway, I was just wrapping up the podcast. Come on, bro. Disturbing me. Anyway, that's it. I gotta go. I got paperwork to sign. My name is Tony Rizzano. This is... That's funny. My name is Tony Rizzano. This is the Affiliate Party Podcast, and we will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, everybody, for me and the shipper, and for the shipper, we like to say peace.